Imagine that the air you breathe in is visibly contaminated, the smog that's poisoning you. We will be very concerned about these problems, right? But what about the invisible pollutant we encounter daily, called noise? In these videos, we are going to explore various aspects of this insidious pollutant. Our hypothesis, based on our personal experience, is that average noise exposure in Hong Kong exceeds the recommended level by the World Health Organization, or WHO, correlating with negative effect of our health, and we want to prove it by conducting our own experiment. The problem of noise pollution is very important nowadays. The WHO and the European Environment Agency call noise exposure the major public health threat affecting both physical and mental health. In Europe, USA, and Asia, 26% of adults have some form of hearing disorder. Noise included hearing loss elderly costs hundreds of billions of dollars to the world economy, but only direct results of noise exposure.
Cardiovascular effects of noise are increased blood pressure, linked to the risk of hypertension and higher probability of infection and stroke, sleep disturbances, and other significant outcomes, with noise leading to fragmented sleep, preventing natural loudness, dip in blood pressure, and subsequently causing hypertension. There are also psychological effects like depression, suicide, children learning impairments, drinking and smoking habits. How loud does noise have to become dangerous? For direct hearing damage, exposure above 80 to 85 decibels is concerning, with single events above 110 decibels potentially causing immediate auditory harm. However, for the indirect effects, the thresholds are much lower. The WHO's guidelines indicates the average nocturnal noise levels above 40 decibels can lead to adverse health effects.
Cities are an epicenter of noise in our world. They are widely associated with increased mental dangers. For instance, it was shown that the more time spent in an urban environment during childhood, the higher the risk of schizophrenia emerge in an adult age. Recognizing these challenges, the Hong Kong government has implemented a tool to manage noise, the Noise Control Ordinance, which provides controls over various noise sources, including general neighborhood noise, construction activities, and motor vehicles.
Traffic is the main source of noise in urban areas like Hong Kong. Hong Kong's high-populated and dense environment makes noise particularly noticeable, with approximately 680,000 people affected in year 2020. Since the aircraft noise exposure is limited to the territories near the airport, and a private vehicle stays unaffordable for the majority of Hong Kong's residents, the subway, also known as the MTR, is the main transport for average Hong Kong's residents. That's why we decided to focus on the MTR.
The MTR is a marvel of engineering, but how noisy is it? A notable article from Harvard, published in 2019, shows average in-train noise levels of around 74.1 decibels, with peaks often exceeding 100 decibels. The Island Line is particularly loud, averaging 81.7 decibels in train and peaking at 108.1 decibels. These are levels that significantly exceed the WHO's 70 decibel recommendation for safe environmental noise, carrying a risk for health and for frequent and long-traveling commuters.
This brings us to our own experiments. Our team wrote various MTR lines recording noise level inside trains using a sound meter app on a smartphone. We conducted this during different times of the day, noting average peak decibel readings. Also, we conducted a survey to commuters, asking about their perception of MTR noise, this impact on their anxiety, and their general feeling about noise in their environment. Our results presented a drastic contrast to the paper. Our in-train measurement shows that the average noise level was 67.7 decibels across the MTR line we sampled. Generally, almost all results appear to be lower than the Harvard article. This is notably lower than 74.1 decibels reported in the Harvard study, and our average loudness peak was 85.7 decibels, which is drastically lower than 100.1 decibels in the article. The Island Line still exceeds the WHO recommendation with the average noise of 72.4 decibels. However, Israel Line is just on the verge of recommendation with 69.1 decibels, and the 2-mile line appears to be really quiet and safe with 65.8 decibels. Our questionnaire reflected a widespread of awareness of noise, with many commuters reporting annoyance and stress despite our lower average MTR reading.
So, why the difference? There are several reasons. Firstly, the Harvard study was conducted over 7 years ago. In that time, the MTR Corporation may have implemented noise mitigation measures, or the aging infrastructure could have altered noise features. Secondly, there's the equipment. While our smartphone noise meters are convenient to use, professional scientific studies typically use very specialized and professional sound meters that offer superior accuracy. Thirdly, the Harvard study itself noted that passenger density can influence noise levels inside trains, with more passengers potentially absorbing sound. Our samples might have captured different passenger loads than the original data collection. While our averages were lower, those significant peaks and noise levels in certain lines still present a concern, especially when considering cumulative exposure.
Also, we conducted a survey via Google Form to find out public opinion about noise. Our respondents encountered the negative effect of noise daily, mainly in the form of decreased productivity, the inability to concentrate, sleep disturbance, and interruption during leisure time. Also, the respondents associate noise mainly with annoyance and stress. The survey shows that people find MTR slightly or moderately noisy. It is fair to assume that in the case of Harvard's paper, a large number being actual, people would find MTR much noisier, which refers to the constant correctness of the experimental results. What can we do in order to protect ourselves? We can use noise-suppressing headphones or even earplugs in particularly loud environments, avoiding increased headphone volumes to resist ambient noise and to educate the public about noise dangers. The Hong Kong government and MTR Corporation can focus on the loudest lines, like the island line, by applying advanced sound-absorbing materials, investigating the feasibility of slight reduction in train speed in the loudest sections to lower peak noise levels where practicable. In conclusion, our hypothesis appeared to be wrong, and we found out that average loudness of MTR is just a little lower than the level considered unhealthy. However, noise still leads to various disease. It remains a serious health concern in Hong Kong and all over the world. To solve this problem, we should use mitigating methods, regulating noise, and educate the public. So let's make our noisy world a quieter and healthier.